Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Look, did you see that Shelly Rocks invaded Tokyo?
No, I did not. When did that happen?
I got to show you this. I think it was something that Andrew sent. Um, I thought it was funny. It's like he said this was Shelly Rocks, and I can see it. You know, I don't know if you can see that.
Not yet. There it. Oh,
There it
yes, I did. Yes,
is. She
the
threw on
South
the
Park
nurse,
episode. I forgot
the
it.
Dr. Feelgood nurse's outfit and invaded
Mhm.
Tokyo.
She was having a party, I see.
He was having a party. But then I think let's see. I think there's another photo here. Let's see if we can make it. Ah, remember Edward Trunk had the
Huh.
Styx guys, and you're the one. You've listened to the Styx interview. I haven't yet.
Mhm.
We maybe
Yeah.
play a little clip from it and just kind of listen to what you were talking about. I think you were saying that, and a lot of people on that Trunk Facebook page, the uh, the sick boy page, said that Tommy what's his face? Shaw doesn't sound that
Shaw.
great, which for a while he does look weathered now. I mean, but up until about 5 years ago, he always looked pretty good, you know, like he
He
aged pretty
definitely had.
well. And now I think he's just haggard because these guys never stop.
Something's going on. He kept Eddie.
Hmm.
Maybe we would. I caught pot. Yeah. Like he couldn't get a word out. I was like, what
Hmm.
the fuck is his problem, dude? Like he
Right.
can't choose a word to say. Is something going on in his old age that the cognitive issues are happening or something? I
Right.
don't know what's going on, but
Right.
kind of made me think that like I don't know. I could be completely wrong. There are guys that do things like that, and then they get on stage and they sing, and you're like, "Holy fuck, he can
Hmm.
sing amazing!" I don't know why he can't talk, but he can sing just fine.
Right.
It did make me also wonder if he's chopping his words like that. How much singing is he really
Right.
doing? Is there some help
Right.
coming in here? Is Terry and Lawrence Gowan
Hmm.
carrying the fucking freight here, and you all are just fucking you and JY are lurching around on stage playing
Right.
pretend to keep the Styx name going?
Yeah.
It was just weird, and I felt bad for him because I've never
Hmm.
heard him be so unable to get basic words out. And it
Right.
was repeatedly, it was over and over. It was almost to the point where it felt like Lawrence Gowan was jumping in to save him
To
and
save him.
answer the questions for him because he could
Right.
see that Tommy was struggling to fucking get a word out. Now, conversely, they're probably going to use an excuse like, "Well, we're in Vegas, and Vegas dries the throat out, and
Hmm.
he's in the middle of a residency." That's all possible. I'm not saying it's not. I've been to Vegas and played shows, and yes, I've noticed that my voice got a little croaky and dry,
Hmm.
and I was having to drink a lot of extra water to stay hydrated. But um, his sounds almost like an age cognitive issue or something
Sure.
going on. So you know. Can I just say it still? I don't understand. Barring Dennis DeYoung fucking their wives or shitting in their cereal,
Right.
I don't really understand what the beef is that is so fucking extreme that they
Well,
can't possibly consider the thought that the guy who wrote all their fucking
hmm
hits might should need to return to the band to give it one last proper roundup.
well,
That's just my.
I think part of it is the fact that they've always they when they gosh, I think over the last 20 years, I mean, they've been consistently selling tickets, and I think just the fact that they're doing it without him somehow, I don't know if you've ever seen any interviews with JY, but for whatever reason, he just about comes unglued. It doesn't always say anything over the top about D Young, but anytime somebody brings him up, just the look on his face. So I don't know what happened there. I mean, they're probably keeping it in house too. I mean, who knows what he did? Maybe he did something that really offended JY, and that's the deal breaker, you know?
Okay, but I mean, you can't tell me it wouldn't boost ticket sales because it would. If they're playing at whatever level, they might get bumped up to the next venue a couple, 2,000, 2,500 more than before or something just by having that reunion.
Well,
Um,
I
and
hear what you're saying, but I think with them, unlike Journey, I mean, both of them are headliners, though. I mean, I think with Styx, they're always headlining. I mean, they did that last
yeah,
summer.
but not for long with the way he's talking. He's going to be in a
Well,
fucking wheelchair in the convalescent home in a minute if he
well,
keeps
who
going
knows
blah blah
what?
blah blah blah. I can't say
Yeah.
the, I can't say at or
Well,
this or
they'll
though.
just run the tracks, I guess. I don't know, but them along with like Def Leppard, I think Styx said it's always sounded pretty good. But after hearing what everybody's saying, I'm like thinking, well, maybe this is where they start doing a little bit of the trickery now. I know with Leopard, they generally the weak link has always been Joe Elliott. I think the background vocals is just basically Phil and Rick and Vivian. I think mostly Vivian. You could hear him blasting, cutting right through the vocals. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if he starts croaking, who knows? Matt might be the deal breaker, and they start running tracks, or maybe they do something where they pull Dennis, kind of like Lou Graham, right? He comes in and does like 3 or 4 songs with Scab Foreigner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I'm not the Styx master, but I know a pretty good amount of their history, and I'm pretty sure the band was started with the Panozzo brothers and Dennis DeYoung. I think JY was
Right.
even the last guy out of those four to join it. So to act like this is his band is kind of like, well, if you're the fucking last guy at the party, just because you're the only guy standing at the end of the party doesn't mean it was your
Yeah.
party, pal.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just saying, and I know the other Panozzo guy stays in the fold because
He's
he
in and
has
out.
AIDS
Yeah.
and he doesn't performs a song here and to give him the name. I get all that. They're paying him basically to
Hmm.
keep him on their side so Dennis can't use the name. Got it. I'm just saying at this point in time, listening to Tommy sound like he's stumbling over the most basic words in the English language, and uh JY looks like Lurch. I mean, he looks
Oh
like
yeah,
fucking
he
Eddie,
looks
like
awful.
Eddie Munster marching around up there. And I'm just saying, like, you can't get any worse than that. I mean, as far as visually, this you're old and you're
Yeah.
so. I'm just saying, like, at some point in time, you would think they would just say, "Hey, okay," or how about this? I bet you Dennis DeYoung is so been left out for so long on this for 20 something years. I bet you they can say, hey Dennis, we're going to keep Lawrence and you're going to have to
Hmm.
fucking pick a couple tunes and he's going to sing a couple tunes and then we're going
Yeah.
to make this one big band and you're going to have to find a way to get it. I bet Dennis would say, you know what, to wrap our career up with the fucking bow, I'll do that. Let's just figure out what I'm just saying, how many more laps around the track you got there, Sticks? Listening to Tommy go Eddie, yeah, it was just not good, and maybe it's because I listened to the audio and I'm not watching the video. Maybe that could
Mm.
be partially it. But when you do listen to audio like that, you have a way of you're visualizing what them, and
Right.
it just didn't sound good, man. I was like, poor Tommy clearly has something medically going wrong, or he's in Vegas in the middle of this residency, and they said they played 2 shows. So I was like, has he really burnt his voice after 2 shows to the point that he sounds like this?
Mm.
So if that's the case, then that's not a good sign either there, Tomo. You might not want to be on the road for a 60-day tour if you're 2 shows in and you sound like you can't fucking talk. I mean, so and Eddie had made it clear, I think, well, then maybe this explains it. He had made it clear that he had not seen Tommy in the last interview and the last show he went to because Tommy's always diving off to go hide because he doesn't
Mm.
feel good or something. So I'm
Right.
wondering if there's something going on with Tommy Shaw
Right.
that's undisclosed. But it's the same old thing. If we really, I would, not to be a dick, but I'll just ask the question. Please list me their top 5 hits and show me which one. Show me which one JY wrote. I'm just being
Well,
straight. I mean,
yeah.
like
I mean,
they're gonna say
there's probably
their top
two.
5 hits are gonna. I would bet though
I think he
the
did
top 5
Renegade, didn't he?
hits. I possibly he might have a writing credit on there. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if you listed the top 5 songs that you know for Styx and said who's the writing credits, it says D DeYoung is the first name on almost every single one that I've ever looked at. So it just makes me feel like, I don't know, man. Come on, he can't whatever he did in 1998 cannot be in 2026 so bad that you can't say, here's your own dressing room, here's your own fucking flight tickets. We'll see you on stage for the 5 songs you're showing up for. They're Dennis DeYoung and, or whatever, like you said, with the Lou Graham thing where they play a bunch of shit and then he comes out and does. And if you're going to do that, get a Panozzo brother out there. I mean, if he's alive and can stand up and play bass, and come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at just Grand Illusion alone, I was going to guess without looking, but you're right. I mean, I think the Fooling Yourself is all Tommy Shaw, just his song. Grand Illusion is DeYoung. Come Sail Away is again DeYoung and Shaw. Well, no, wait, it's a DeYoung tune. They do co-vocal. Miss America is Dennis. No. JY. So Miss America.
Okay. There's one, yeah. I'm not saying they don't have participation. What I'm trying to say is their charting hits were mostly sung and written by Dennis DeYoung. It seemed like every album they had one Tommy Shaw song or two, one JY song per album, but the bulk of most releases that they charted and made money off of were Dennis DeYoung largely influenced.
Yeah, and then you got Blue Collar Man is Shaw. I was going to say it was Shaw. Renegade is Shaw too. So there you go.
Oh,
so,
okay. Well, there you go.
So it's Shaw and DeYoung, really.
Yeah. So, and that's probably where the split really lies. I mean, I understand JY plays guitar solos, and that was his main function was guitar player. I get it. I'm not knocking that. You got to have the guitar player guy do. I'm just saying at their age, if you're in your late 70s or mid 70s, he's going to be 74, 73. These guys are all in their mid 70s. I just think at some point in time, like we're talking with some of these other guys, wouldn't you want to look around and go, what do we start this with? Can we wrap it up with that instead of, maybe they just don't care. Maybe they just want the money and that's all it's about. I don't know. So, but Tommy Shaw, let's put it this way. If you go listen to Jack Blades on an interview with Mr. A Trunk, he's not stumbling over every word. So there's something going on there with Tommy Shaw. I'm not quite clear. It sounds cognitive. Yeah. It sounds like probably needs some medical treatment, and who knows? But
it hasn't stopped Don Dawkin. So
no, but Don doesn't. I mean, as much as he stumbles on singing,
he's playing,
he's talking.
He's playing like pallet shelters compared to what Styx are doing. Yeah.
I was running the tallies on some of the venues they're playing, and they're like 5,000 seaters or whatever, which is like the same as Sammy and some of the other. So that's I mean, that's a step above who we just mentioned, the Dawkins and all that kind of stuff. Well, maybe 2 steps above the Dawkins. But my brother Wendell would tell you it's sold out at the Arcada Theater 900. Well, packed.
I think this is at the Arcada Theater, right?
Absolutely.
And then there's God, she's like flat chested, isn't it?
Or she's got a big belly. I think
that's what it is, right? It all kind of levels off.
It's kind of Shelly Rocks has the same problem.
maybe what if they are one and the same?
Well, we don't know that to not
we
be
don't
true.
know.
People have been, ruminating that, Demon 2 in that chat room is not a chick. So we're starting to realize that there might not really be very many females at all in the CMS sphere. They might just be fakes, or they could be one chick pretending to be multiple.
And don't you get the feeling that a lot of those are probably multiple accounts logged in at one same time?
Burner accounts, for
sure. Burner
100%.
accounts, just to make it look like it's all the smoke and mirrors. You like the Black Crowes? I mean, I do to a point. I think they got a little bit too out there for me as far as like it got kind of weird for me. But I think up until Amorica, that was a pretty good band.
I like actually all Black Crowes. I'm not of the CMS variety where Evil as a biker brother has been known to partake. And so sometimes to enjoy the Black Crowes, you might need to be on the Chris Robinson fog train in order to understand what he's trying to do. My problem with the Black Crowes in their current incarnation was the complete sacking of all the other Crows.
Right.
That makes it not Black Crowes anymore. Now it's the Robinson Band, right?
Did you ever get into what was the fucking band that Rich Robinson had? Ah,
He had the Magpie
Matt.
Salute.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
Again, not I wasn't going to pay to see any of their solo projects. I
Yeah.
guess where my issue with the Robinson brothers boils down to is that the best Crows music came when it had Mark Ford on lead guitar and Steve Gorman on drums and etc. And so when they started to weed those guys out one by one, the band to me started to sound more and more generic and less like an actual Black Crows and more like a Chris Robinson backing band or something, which is what he's going for. And I get that because it's
Right.
cheaper, but it to me, it sounds like it's shittier. It's just, they're just not the same quality. I don't give a shit what he says. They're not the same quality musicians. And so that would be my issue. I saw them with Gorman, with Ford.
Hmm.
I've seen them more recently. I think Ford was out. They had a different lead guitar player, but they still had that other guy on the keyboards, and they had Sven on the bass. So I still felt
Hmm.
like it was still pretty Black Crows ish. That was opening for Tom Petty, a couple out, I don't know, 2008, six, I don't know, somewhere
Yeah.
in there. It was the last time I saw them, and that was, I think, the last one of the last big runs they did before they sacked Gorman and started doing all the changes and fighting and all the things they're known for. So, not knocking them. If you haven't seen them before, go check them out. I just would say for me, I'm kind of waiting to see if there's ever a real Crows reunion. Right now, it just feels like the Robinson brothers plus a bunch of guys I don't know who they are. Bunch of
Yeah.
kids, honestly, with what I saw. But
I um yeah, I wasn't a fan of the last record. I think this one, new ones, sounding a little bit more
better.
like the stuff from the probably a mesh of the first couple, maybe. Um,
Southern Harmony is,
yeah,
I think, my
yeah,
favorite of them. But
yeah.
yeah,
That is probably their best one, or that I've enjoyed anyway. But I did see Chris when he did that Birds of a Feather, and I thought that was great. I mean, because he had Marcus King, and yeah, I mean that guy brought something, and I did at that time I didn't even know he was as young as he is. I mean, I think he might have been early
little
20s because
youngster.
it's been a
Yeah.
few years.
Hmm.
Um, but they did this cool um what was it? They did a purple song. Which was it? I think it was Hush. And they dragged that fucking thing out for like 15 minutes or something. It was fucking good. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd think about seeing this. Like I said, I think when we did that end of the year thing, just because of the Whiskey Myers, I think if you see both those bands together, that'd be worth it. But again, like with everything, they're not coming to Portland.
Yeah.
So, but
Which is surprising that Robinson doesn't want to go join his peoples, his
right, no shit.
shoeless hippie peoples on the corner of Portland. But no,
But
it seems like a good. But go back real quick though. Isn't the opening band on that one though? Who you just
yeah, it's Whiskey Myers. Yeah. Well, no, they're the middle band. It's actually
who's
co-headlining, so both of them are
who's
going to
the
be do.
opening band there?
Uh,
Does that say?
what's it say?
I can't even
South
read it. That's
Hall?
why.
South Hall?
Okay, okay,
I've never
gotcha.
heard of them.
That's not who
I'll
I
have
thought
to
it was.
look them up though. Um,
Okay.
because it looks like the
Yeah.
only way I'd see them is if I go to Nampa, Idaho.
Yeah.
Oof.
Idaho. Which actually, I
Yeah.
mean, if you told me go to Shit City or go hang out in Idaho, I'd probably I'd probably make the drive to Idaho myself.
Yeah,
But
Idaho's a lot better.
yeah,
But look at this. So this shocked me a little bit because King Diamond, a couple of years
yeah,
back when he did that headlining tour, he wound up canceling Portland, I think in Seattle because he ticket sales, although they said that he was sick. But look at this. They're
yeah.
doing a traveling mayhem festival and it's Slayer and King Diamond. I mean, and again, I think this has Seattle, but who wants
Hmm.
to go to Seattle? The other one is Boise. So,
Hmm. And this was back in 2015. They were already avoiding the Pacific Northwest if possible.
mhm.
Vinnie Paul was still alive at this time, and correct. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
another band
Isn't
that
that crazy? I mean, I think that this lineup would do a killing now.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, think about
absolutely.
this because when I saw this,
I
I was
mean,
like, is this like now? And then I'm like, oh, it's 10 years ago, 11
yeah,
years ago.
yeah, yeah.
But I do remember this, and I do remember feeling like bummed out because it was like, oh man, I want to go to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but But
And I
you
don't
know who's
know.
coming
I
to the
don't.
Dalles?
Well, that's
Jackyl.
legit right there. I
Hmm.
mean,
Which is
have you?
interesting because I did see him the last time they were in Portland at Dante's, and it must have been like a decade ago, I think. So that's probably the last time they played in Oregon. So,
Mm-hmm. It's been a
but
minute. Yeah, they don't get out here very often, I would imagine.
no,
But at least a band that plays live.
yeah. Oh,
They're
like
plugged
the
in.
the real live, real
Yeah, I mean
rock.
they actually have instruments plugged in, and I think Jesse James' vocals are actually him singing, which is probably surprising to most people. But because again, his contemporaries, many of them are using the, which we'll get into a little bit later, possibly, since Tim James reached out and asked me how I
Oh,
felt about the Motley Crue situation. So
oh,
we'll talk
there's
about that. Oh,
ooh.
there's Tim Ryan, the real other Tim we're
That's
looking for.
Matt Ryan. He's
Oh,
going,
Matt Ryan. I'm sorry.
whoa!
Yes,
I think your guys are fired. I mean,
yes. I think you guys are all collecting your shit and getting the
I'm
hell out of the
keeping this
building.
photo just because this is going to be the look on Neely's face when he sees us one day.
Yeah, that he's definitely gonna. Well, I think he's been working out in order to prepare for the encounter. He's worried
Well,
about
that's
the
what he
lunch
says.
lady arms being tugged on, so he's been hitting the gym and doing this 30 minutes of exercise to get his heart rate up and burn some calories. The Quaker Steak and Lube can add a few lbs, ladies and gentlemen. We're just trying to curb the lbs. Don't want to
How
watch the waistline.
how much of the show this weekend did you listen to?
Zero. I
I
didn't. I didn't. I
well,
honestly, I'm waiting for him to load it onto the things that I will. I'm not paying their fees, so
yeah.
I don't get. So I got to wait 2 weeks for him to get something onto something to Rumble or to a YouTube channel, and then it's clips. He likes to do his little. He on YouTube. He just cuts it up
Hmm.
into short clips. He won't give you a full show, and so I gotta be honest with you. I'm not. I'm gonna go ahead this weekend because I have nothing really going on Saturday night. Although there may be the possibility that has a hot date Saturday night. If that happens,
Oh,
I'm definitely dropping
well, yeah.
Wendell for a
Yeah, no
10.
kidding.
But if I can, I am going to pop in and listen. I guess basically at this point in time, what it boils down for me is the first hour I know what it's going to be, so the
Sure.
first segment, and so
It's
that's a
just a
hard one to
burner,
trudge.
you know.
Yeah,
They just
and then
burn the
I
hour.
gotta log in at that 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
time slot for them to start talking about stuff. And what happens is if I tune in on that segment and it's music related, they might have a chance of keeping me around for another segment or
Hmm.
two. But if I get on there and I hear Neely talking social commentary and
Oh yeah.
reading his CNN news stories in his bad, his inability to read the English language, that usually drives me off. And that's usually where I start going, fuck, God, I gotta sit here for how many minutes to listen to him talk about whatever minority or female or whatever he's gonna rant about that has nothing to do with music. So I have noticed on the last shows we did take note of that they were changing that, or Aiken was trying to,
Hmm.
which means Aiken, you're taking notes when you listen to the wrap up show. We appreciate you for doing that. Keeping it more music related is a good idea, but your brother or my brother still
Right.
steers the ship back towards
Yeah.
social Trump land whenever he gets a chance.
And
So
and I think the new thing is doing a lot of gay bashing. He's dropped the racism a little bit and has focused more on the gay bashing. So,
while he
but
zips up Don's pants.
right. But I'm with you. I find it a total bore and not even worth having it as background noise anymore. I mean, I almost do a roulette thing where I just select a time to tune in and listen to that segment and then call it because I mean, it's just like, why waste your time? There's other shit you could be doing.
Yeah, and we'll still check in here or there. Obviously, when news gets broke that something's going on, I mean, they're trying to act like there's some news because Trunk
Hmm.
somehow got their segment got brought up on Trunk from the old thing that got happened when Satchel called him and pretended to be some
Right.
guy who likes Steel
Right.
Piston, and Trunk's fucking clueless, which is why I was saying to you and Andrew in the chat that he's tempting evil someday to call in and be the guy who just keeps calling over and over with different voices. And like I said, I really wanted, because as soon as he got a couple of votes going vinyl, he was like
Yeah.
shattered on the radio. He was like, where's my CD people? Like he needed backup. And then he went to Joel. He's like, well, Joel, I know you're going to be a CD vote. Like, cause he was down, it was like 6 votes to vinyl, 2 votes to CD. And Joel goes, actually, and you could just hear him just, all the air came out of it. Trump was like, I'm losing this war. He couldn't believe it that he might be considered wrong. Well, I'm going to find more people. We're going to take this tally for a few more shows in the next week. I'm going to put a poll because I think that it's like, dude, don't get me wrong. I don't really care. I'm not a vinyl or a CD guy. Guess what, guys? I'm a fucking digital stream it on my phone because I'm out on the go. When I listen to music, it's usually when I'm out and about, not when I'm sitting at home. And if I do, it's on the TV in the background, streaming on a service. But the idea that he's like Neely, he's so stuck on this. But CDs gave me a digital readout. CDs told me the time and the length of the song. CDs told. I get it for you as radio DJ, man. That's made it so cool.
And I think the other thing too is like, why is it so important to convert people? I mean, I don't care one way or the other. If you want to buy, like I did listen to a portion of that where he's rambling about, people are into 8-tracks and cassettes. And it's like, yeah, so if they want to waste their money on that, let them. Fuck.
Well, that's why I was going to call him and be like, hey, it's Jimmy from Clifton, New Jersey, home of dingbats. I got a record player in the trunk of my car. I got an 8-track in the deck. And I'm telling you right now, Mr. Trunk, it's vinyl first, 8-track second, cassette third, and then you can have your CDs. And he'd be, another vote for vinyl. Oh.
It wasn't there. I did hear too, I think it might have been today's episode where he was saying that his kid went and returned his turntable.
Yeah, because he guilt shamed him into owning records.
Right.
Imagine that kind of parenting. Your kid's all pumped. He's got a couple of records, a new turntable for Christmas, and you walk in and go, let me explain to you all the reasons why you should just throw that away or return it because it's useless. Which is basically what he did. He tried to act like, well, I didn't try to influence him. No, but you sat down and point by point try to dismantle why he should never listen to a record. Eddie, here's the deal, Eddie. Not everyone's as lazy as you. Some people want to flip the record. Some people want to hold the big fucking artwork and look at the insides and check shit out, dude. Okay. Number 2, I don't care what you say, Ed. When they went to digital, all cymbals and drums, for those of us who listen to true audio and actually single out tracks, you can hear the difference in the crash of a cymbal on a CD versus a record. 100%. Motherfucker. So don't act like there's no audio difference. Go ask Eddie Kramer if there's an audio difference between what happens when it gets digitized into a fucking CD format versus what it's like when it's on a vinyl. Go ask him. He's going to tell you that it fucking degrades the quality. The highs come up, the lows go out. So I'm just saying, dude, there are reasons why people would choose vinyl. I'm not saying I'm one of them. I don't have a fucking stack of records over here and I'm Mr. Record Guy trying to promote. I'm just saying I could see people on both sides why there would be reasons. My kid likes to look at the records and put them on his record player while he's playing video games. That's what he likes to do. I don't see him in there asking, Dad, can you get me the CD? He has never asked for a CD. He's only asked for downloading it or a record, a physical. And the records he wants like Metallica and shit. That has the old school artwork and the original shit on there so he could look at Cliff and Lars when they were fucking 23 or whatever the fuck. My point is, Eddie, yes, it was convenient for you as a DJ. You didn't have to. This is the big thing for him, flipping the record. He claims he has to flip a record 3 or 4 times. I don't know, again, what records. He's talking about double albums or special editions. The Metallica records I ordered on Christmas for my son's Christmas presents, they have 2 sides, Eddie. You flip them one time. They're just like the old school record. One half of the album's on one side, half the album's on the other side. So that I don't understand. I get like riding in the car, but if you're going to go ride in the car, everyone's going digital. Who's carrying around when you go on the road to LA, Trunk, do you have like a 20-pack of CDs in your backpack? Or are you fucking just streaming it off your phone, bro? That's what everyone does. Come on. So no, cars don't, again, he was trying to pump up the CD thing about the car. Cars don't even have CD players anymore, bro. Go get a modern car right now off the market and climb in and tell me where you're putting your CD. You're not. It's not in there. So the whole idea of these medias is kind of going to go away because that's really where everyone, collectors, I'll tell you why I think it is. This is, towards the end of his interview, he kind of reveals, you got to listen to Trunk and kind of read between his egotistical lines of self-centered fucking, yeah. So he said at the end, It's because the record company and the publicist sends him a CD in the mail for free. That's why. He doesn't want to go back and take thousands and thousands and thousands of CDs and switch them over to albums. And no publicist or record guy or whatever from the band is sending him a record in the mail. They're sending him a CD. So it goes back to him being cheap. He doesn't want to pay for anything, not a single ounce of any of it. And he wants to get it for free, and he wants it in CD, which can come in the mailbox. That's exactly what it really boils down to. Because how many of these is he even playing on the radio show? Is he actually queuing it up over there on the side? No, Joel's doing that.
He's even said that every now and then he does send stuff over, but for the most part, it's in a database.
Yeah, that's my point. So this is just so really what it is you're a cheap fuck who wants free shit, and the easiest way to get cheap free shit at Eddie Trunk is a CD. Gotcha, copy. Again, baby boomer fucking Wendell Neely thought process. I hate to break it to Eddie Trunk and Wendell. You're the last of a dying breed. You are. No one cares about radio DJs anymore, dude. It doesn't even exist. This is all going to go away. Even what me and Ruben are doing right now is eventually going to, in 10 more years, will be a antiquated, oh, those guys just talk. That's all they do. Because there'll be so much more going on with effects and this and people making shit. So I hate to break it to you, Ed. You might want to get into that announcing thing a little more full-time, because Sirius is eventually going to call it one day and go, well, we can't pay Stern. We have so subscribers. Everyone's fucking online getting it for. We lost your microphone. Wherever we're getting it for free.
I was just gonna say, did you listen to the what's his face? Brian Slagle episode?
Yes, I did.
Don't you get the feeling? I mean, that he could do an entire show like Ed's doing, and it'd be a lot more fun to listen. Plus, he's got connections in there, and he wouldn't be bragging. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that in that Trunk Facebook page, somebody pointed out that he has a lisp. That doesn't bother me that much. I think he overall, I mean, did you listen to the part where Ed was slobbering all over Youngblood, and Slagle said, "Yeah, I saw him in Dallas. You know, he gave an honest critique. He's something about, you know, maybe he works the crowd too much. He does a little bit too much of that in between songs, and it was okay. He's a good vocal, but he probably needs some help with writing songs or whatever." But Ed's all of a sudden flipped, and he thinks that he's like the future of rock, and he's not even a rock guy.
Again, my honest assessment of that is that because Ed doesn't listen to any new rock music. Again, I mean, unless the bands are sending him the free CD in the mail and paying him a little something to make sure he listens, I'm sure it's not even hitting his fucking ears. This is what bothers me about him. I kind of don't really think he is a rock metal guy. I think he's a rock metal guy because he gets paid to be a rock metal guy. I don't think in his downtime that he chooses to go out and listen to rock music. I just don't. I think he's too busy watching football and self-absorbed in his own pile of shit to ever pay attention to anyone else.
But he does have a limited scope. I mean, I think if you look at I think the heaviest, he's kind of like Wendell too. I mean, it's just kind of, he says he likes Slayer, but it's like, okay, to what degree? I mean, do you stop naming actual songs after South of Heaven, or Season of the Abyss?
The two things they know.
Yeah. And they probably couldn't even tell you anything off Rain and Blood other than Rain and Blood.
Yeah. It was 100%. And that's what I'm saying. And when he's like, well, I saw Amon Amarth, but that's because Joe Bob took me and gave me a ticket, and I had front row center in the third. And like, okay, I get it. So they cater to you full hunt, and then some guy led you out there to go do it. But I'm just saying, I don't think if he was to take time out of his life on his own night, so there's no radio show, there's no appearance fee, there's nothing motivating him to go, it would have to be Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony right there in Vegas down the street, calling him over to come hang out and come drink and be our buddy. Then he might show up. Or if it was Bootleggers Bistro and whatever, Right. I'm just saying, it's not like he's gonna I hear this new band, I've never seen them, I'm gonna buy a ticket and go see them. whether that's a club, a theater, a bar, a Saphir, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
venue. He doesn't do that. He makes it very clear. He couldn't even go to NAMM for one day on
Yeah.
his own
On his
dime
own.
because
Right.
no one was paying him because he claims he needs $700 to $800 a day to exist in Los Angeles.
Right.
I don't know unless he's eating at the
Right.
five-star fucking restaurant where $700 or $800 even in LA.
Right.
You can get a fucking Best Western and fucking Burbank for $200 a night, which is all Trunk needs. He's no higher than that. Come on, dude. You don't need to stay on Rodeo Drive, you
Mhm.
motherfucker. That's what you're doing. And
Right.
you don't need the Uber Black, the fucking, SUV with the limo
Mhm.
driver. You need the fucking little guy in the fucking Fiesta, bro. That's all you need, Trunk.
Right.
So you are going out there and saying, I want this fucking kind of driver and this kind of hotel, otherwise I won't go. And that's what
Yeah.
shows you he's just a cheap ass motherfucker in it for himself and has no interest in actually doing anything
He
fun
just
or about the music business.
he just needs the Somalian with the fucking GPS.
Yeah, and he would tell you, well, a hotel in Burbank, it's over in Anaheim. Or I'm just giving you an example of how you can
Yeah.
stay in an outer city and then get commuted 30 minutes in. But he would
Right.
tell you, well, I don't have my schedule's so packed, I don't have the 30 minutes to ride over there. That's what he would try to tell you. I mean, just like when he constantly bitches about, I got to fly into Vegas and out to Dude, if you live in your second home in Vegas and you have admitted you have a car, you could drive from Vegas to LA in 3 hours flat, dude. It's actually kind of a cool drive out in the desert. You can get like 85, 90 on some of those fucking hills.
Mhm.
Would he ever do that?
Would cost him gas.
Yeah, or his time. God forbid
Or
he
his
actually
time.
spent 2
Yeah.
hours behind the wheel of a car listening to some new Def Leppard or checking out some of those CDs he gets.
Yeah.
He's so self-absorbed, dude. That's what I noticed because I was like, dude, like, okay, hold on. You're already in LA. So all we're really
Mhm.
asking you to do is sleep in a bed for one more night and wake up tomorrow morning and go to Anaheim and say hi to some guys. And then he's like, well, it'd have to be in function and it doesn't really it's not conducive to my show. You can't pull out the pocket recorder and go, hey, it's Eddie T here. We got
Yeah.
Scott Ian at the fucking Jackson fucking booth. What's up, Scott? You can't do a little on
Well-
the spot, record some shit for your show. Are you
Well,
that
think
inept?
of-
You need Joel to come hold a microphone and jerk your fucking cock to do a show? Is that what you need,
Well,
Ed?
he could have done any of those. I mean, I think even just if he'd done that Metal Allegiance, I mean, that's like a all-star thing.
And he
or
would have had
the
all kinds
Ronnie
of people
Montrose.
there.
Yeah.
He would have all kinds of people there to talk to an interview for a show and get 5 minutes with fucking Ellefson and 5 minutes with this guy and 5 minutes with, who the fuck ever, Phil Campbell or who the fuck these guys that all show up for these things. My point is, you just hear it. It's like 100%. If Sirius is not covering the freight from beginning of trip to end, or someone else, some promoter is not covering the hotel, the airfare, every single penny, he has zero interest in
What was
ever
the-
doing anything on his own dime.
What was the word people floated out there? He's a freeloader.
He is. That's I mean,
funny.
he uses
Uh.
he I guarantee you he's got his little cost for his appearance fee to host your event. You pay him that fee, then he's going to say, I need my hotel, I need my airfare, I need my fucking per diem. This is what I got to do. And that's all for him because that's the way and that's fine. That's not uncommon for people to bring someone in that's got some fame to them if they got to, make cover
Right.
some bases for him. But my point is, I just get when he said $700 to $800 a day in Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you're eating or shitting or sleeping, but it's insane because you can get the Hyatt on Hilton, or the Hyatt House or the Wright House, whatever they call it in Hollywood for fucking $500 a fucking night. Where are you staying, dude? You need to stay next to Axel? Is that what you're saying? So I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I just know that he had zero interest in anything that involves him doing something that's not directly going to benefit him directly. So if it benefits the fans, the show, not interested. He doesn't give a fuck about he makes that very clear. Because if that would be more interesting to listeners like me, if he's not getting his $1,500 appearance fee, there's no, as he says, no function for him. Function means you pay me. That's what he's saying. So,
Well, and keeping in the theme of freeloaders, Neely didn't mention a thing about NAMM. Like, remember
No, he
before
didn't.
the break,
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh, I might go," and it's like, yeah, that's not something you just decide the week before and you head out there. because you need to find a
Yeah.
place to stay. You need to get the badge. You need to get all that stuff. Badges and registration for those end the week of Thanksgiving. So, I mean, he's so full of shit. It was all Nalbandian.
The only way that was going to happen in his world is if Don Dawkin picked up a phone and
Yeah.
said, "I'm showing up and my helper's coming along and I need this covered," and some motherfucker in that building was, "Oh, it's Don Dawkin, let's get it." And whatever. But even that, I still wonder in this day and age how many of them would really want to.
Sure.
I, but there would be someone because there is enough of those kinds of guys at NAM to,
And what
so
does that, I was thinking, what does that say about his relationship with Red Rain? Because those slobs all piled into one room somewhere,
yeah,
and
probably
they
the
didn't,
Burbank Best Western where
yeah,
I stay.
and they didn't invite him. That would have been his way in, but doesn't sound like they threw him a bone.
Uh, no, I don't think they can. Do they have? Would they have leverage to get a bone thrown?
Well,
I don't.
well, I
I
don't
think
know.
the
I
bone
mean, I
being
know.
thrown was to them.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know that they were in the actual Anaheim Convention Center. I mean, they did perform or yeah, at Metal Allegiance, but they bought their way into that.
I was gonna say that had to be a paid opening slot
Oh,
or something. There
absolutely it
was no,
was.
yeah, there was,
Yeah.
yeah. So, they all forked out for their own, like you said, hotel and
Hmm.
airfare and everything they're doing. And yeah, there was no way they have no leverage to say, well, what about Wendell? People would now be all, who?
Who?
He'd be all Bob
The
Del
guy
Bandy,
from
and they'd be
yeah.
all, oh, the guy that made the documentary that died.
You
Oh,
mean
oh no, his
you
his
mean
friend, his friend. Oh, okay, who?
you mean that guy that made those poor looking documentaries?
I seem to remember a guy walking around saying he was going to make a documentary about
Yeah.
10 years ago. I don't know if I ever, that's what they're going to say.
You
But, yeah,
funny.
what leverage? Neely has no,
No.
Neely, he can pull that
Yeah.
kind of stuff on the Jackals and the Shelleys of
Oh
the
yeah.
world because they're dumb
Absolutely.
enough to go, oh yeah, Don would just totally open the gates
Oh
of
yeah.
fucking heaven for Wendell and he walks in because he's got the pull. Guys like me and you know that he's just blowing smoke up their ass. Like he has no
Right.
extra fucking live. Like if he had scheduled early, sure, he probably could have got
Oh
in. I'm
sure.
sure me and you, if we had talked to
Oh
somebody
yeah.
early, could have got in. But we're not. We don't need the ego stroke.
No.
He needs the fucking. He wants that chat room to feel like, well, you can't go to NAM. That's what. First off, he always
Right.
makes it real clear that you just can't walk into NAM.
But you
You
can.
got to go through people like me.
No,
Gotta
what he
on
what he
the red
doesn't
carpet.
what he doesn't tell you is Sunday's the free day where people can walk in off the streets, and that's when all the freeloaders really roll in, and because they
Yeah.
always and you don't see that many of the big names stick around. But the one thing in the times that I've gone, it's always been Michael Anthony's always shown up on Sundays, which is kind of cool. If he doesn't make it in throughout the week, he definitely makes it in Sundays, and that's like the big name. But yeah, I mean that's when they just let people roll in off the street. I mean that would be the only day he could actually make it in there without the
Yeah.
credentials.
Without Don making a call and getting something lined up for them. But that would require those people wouldn't give a F about Neely. They'd be like, when's Don pulling in? If Don's not
Yeah.
showing up, then and Neely won't admit this, but there's a chance that's on the West Coast. Don may say,
Mhm.
I need Crenshaw. I don't need Wendell.
And Crenshaw's always at NAB. I think
That's my point. Crenshaw
for like
knows
the
more
la-
people at NAM than we.
Oh, yeah.
We both would believe that Crenshaw has more
Oh, yeah.
leverage at NAM than Wendell ever
Oh,
would.
absolutely. I mean, he's got a way in every year.
Yeah, because he knows people. He actually does go talk to people, unlike
Mhm.
Wendell. I mean, both of them gloat and ego
Oh, yeah.
stroke themselves, but Neely does it on a radio show, which makes it, and we know he's full of shit, which makes it worse. At
Right.
least Crenshaw, you could go on his social media and
Yeah.
see photos of him actually doing what he claims he's going to go do.
Right.
So now, whether he bought the house in Vegas or whether he was staying at
Sure, that's
Airbnb is
bullshit.
a little
Yeah,
iffy,
that's Airbnb.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah. But at least he's where he says he is, and he says I'm going to go. He goes. Unlike Wendell, who kind of, it's just like the CMS barbecue of 2025. They float it out there. They get this. Hey, we should do a barbecue and have the people show up, get a band, have some food, and then it never just disappears. Never happens.
Next, well, I don't know when. I'll try to dig it up, but on was it Tuesday? Tuesday. I did uh, a chit chat with the bass player from Fifth Angel, who's they're from Seattle, power metal band and stuff.
Mhm.
But he has Ken Mary's in the band, in the Fifth Angel.
Mhm.
Um, he appears on John's solo record, the bass player. And somehow we got talking about Ken Mary and some of his work, him working on the record. I'll have to cue it up, but it is interesting because he had his opinion about David Ellefson, and
Mhm.
it is funny. Basically, the gist of it is, yeah, he's in the band until he's not in the band, because he always moves on from thing to thing. So,
Yeah.
he even mentioned they should call me to be his replacement because he already knows Ken,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know.
Is
Uh,
Ken from Seattle originally? Is that how? I mean,
well, yeah, he was in
where?
Fifth Angel. They were based out of Seattle. I think at some point he moved to Arizona, and then
L.A.
he and then
or
he
okay,
L.A., Arizona, or something, and then he
somewhere
started
so
drumming
south.
for
Yeah.
Alice Cooper.
Hmm.
Um, Prior to Eric Singer, I think Eric Singer yeah, he was in Alice Cooper's band, right? But
Yes, Eric Singer was.
Ken was in the band at the same time. They had Kip Winger and Kane
Okay,
Roberts. Yeah,
Ken Roberts on
yeah.
guitar. Yep.
So
Um. Okay. Like I'm trying to draw the connections on how because I always associate him with being in the SoCal music scene with all the different projects he's a part of.
the
But then I always hear the Seattle thing mentioned all the time with people he
yeah,
knows or plays with up there.
the other thing that was kind of funny because I had mentioned something. I go, yeah, yeah, Ken. He's also doing Flotsam and Jetsam, and I said the Great White thing. What was Jack Russell's Great White? And he goes, oh, that. He goes, that thing's pretty much done. He wasn't. It didn't sound like he was impressed by that. You know, them doing that
Well,
after Jack's death,
I kind of agree, and that's why I brought up on the last show. At
right?
what point would if Mark is gets to a point where he's unable to perform live, or God forbid, that's just it. I would think a Montana and an Audi
Hmm.
and fucking Lardy need to look at each other and go, "Hey, let's just merge these two units into something that can be salvageable to be
Yeah,
a
and and and
sounding
bring
great
that
white."
kid along with him.
Yep.
That. Yeah.
And let Lochner handle some of the lead guitar stuff that Kendall would normally be doing because he already knows it and he
Hmm.
already has some history with Jack. And so I don't know. It just seems like if they could find a way, if the beef was truly between Russell and Kendall, and really
Hmm.
that's the nexus of it, then the rest of these guys should be able to find a way to fucking have a cold brew and a fucking get over it and fucking let's try to fucking make some dough together. But I
Right.
was just saying that because it again, I saw it again. He made very clear he's stage 4 cancer. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those ones you can live for
But
25 years with
but
stage
can
4
you
cancer, but
can you really believe a guy that always extends a year of sobriety and like a few years ago he was posting something about him slipping up on smoking and drinking or something? I mean, it's just fucking crazy. That's
don't
nuts.
really know what to believe or not to believe there. I gotta say, I've only met Mark Kendall twice, and both times it was just so like, hey, how you doing? Da 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 da
Hmm.
da. You want a picture, sign something, and then he was
Yeah.
off. I mean, there was
Yeah.
no ability to really gauge what his personality was like
Yeah.
or not. I talked to Jack and Audie much more of the times that I met them
It,
than
it, it
than
was
actual.
Yeah, I think the last cruise that I went on, they were getting on unloading, they were getting dropped off in a sprinter and
Mhm.
pulling their bags out and in line and they would just kind of strolled by because they get early access on and
Mhm.
yeah, it was real nice, but you're right. I mean, it was just kind of like, hey, shook your hand or whatever. Yeah, we'll see you on the ship, buddy. And off he
Yep.
went. Hey, he's
Yep.
nice enough, but it was almost
Yeah,
kind of
he's
like
always
he
polite.
couldn't wait to get away from you.
Yeah, well, and again, like, I'm sure like Jack, he just gets to a point where everybody wants to shake his hand and take a picture
Hmm.
because he's Mark Kendall of Great White. Get
Yeah.
it? But it just seemed like even Jack and Audie were much more willing to like, hey, what's going on in this town? What you guys? Is there anything happening around here? Where's the party at? Where's the chicks? They were at
Hmm.
least more like sociable about it. Mark was
Right.
just always just off to his own thing. And the same with I never at once. I don't know if I ever even saw Lardy at all, but I mean, other than on the stage, I don't know where he was prior to or after, but. Either way, yeah. Again, a band that if that happens and that kind of diagnosis is coming down for basically what is at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we would say out of all the great white members that are currently living, Mark is the guy that the band's named after. He's the guy that can do all the guitar solos. He's the
Right.
guy in the black hat we were used to seeing on fucking stage ripping the fucking shit. So if he can't be there, I'm just saying there's, to me, being that old school guy, only three guys I recognize as true great white classic era, and that's Audi, Lardy,
Yeah.
Montana. And if they don't have no beef with Montana, I think between him and Lardy, they could figure out who's playing guitar and keyboards each song by song. You already got the bass player McNay going from both bands
Yeah.
last I checked, so he's already locked in. So yeah, just
Mhm.
get Lochner on guitar and go do it. Or, you know,
Yeah.
if there was truly no bad blood between Kendall and Lochner, then maybe it's a situation where Kendall just says, I appear when I can appear, like these older
like,
old guys,
like Mick Jones until he
that's my
finally
point.
just
Yeah,
went
yeah.
away. Period. Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah, and then let Lochner handle most of it, and then once in a while, when they're in LA or someplace close by, Kendall pops in and plays a couple of songs.
How much longer do you think Foreigner has? Because now I've totally lost interest. I think you got so used to having Kelly Hansen as the singer, and then especially if you caught that particular band when he was in the band, now it's like I don't know that I have any interest in the little guy that they put in there. He kind of reminds me too much of the little Filipino in Journey. You know that it's kind of a weird thing. Sounds good, but not good enough for me to go, yeah, I want to go see this.
It's truly for two kinds of people: the fan who doesn't care at
Hmm.
all and just wants to hear the music and doesn't is not loyal to any members, or the brand new person who's never had any chance to see any of it, and here's my chance to hear these songs live because I'm never going to see Lou Gramm or Mick
Right.
Jones or whatever, even Kelly Hansen or whatever. But yes, no, I remember when they were, in my opinion, I felt like they were re-emerging with themselves with Kelly, and they had
Hmm.
Jason Bonham on drums at one point
Yes.
in time. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, this band is really fucking, at that point, I thought the lineup they had with Jeff and Jason, and it was really a kick-ass lineup. And
Hmm.
Mick was still playing and playing most of the shows and well, and but it did feel like every couple of years another one of those good players would fall off. They'd replace him with the guy. I'm not saying a Brian Tichy or whoever they got
Yeah.
now, whatever guy is not bad. It's just, to me, Jason Bonham's a little notch above that, and so it just kind of degraded. And so now, yeah, would I
Yeah.
go? Probably not.
Yeah.
I would be slightly tempted if it was really close, like this town or, 15
Hmm.
minutes at my front door. I'd be really tempted because of Lou Gramm if he was going to be
Yeah.
there to see Lou that one last time, because he still, in my opinion, for a guy who's got pudding on the brain, still sings pretty well for a guy. I mean,
No
compared
shit.
to Don Dokken. Don Dokken doesn't have that
Oh,
excuse,
yeah.
right?
I mean, doesn't he like walk on stage like he's been fucking lobotomized, but then when he opens his mouth, you're like, well, he doesn't sound that bad. I mean, he looks
Yeah,
like shit, but doesn't sound
yes.
bad, right?
Again, another guy in his 70s, but
Yeah.
compared to Don Dokken, he sounds like $1 million, to be honest
Isn't
with
that
you.
awesome
I mean,
that you
if-
you
if-
always all roads go back to comparison with Don Dokken is
well,
like
because
that's
because that's the bottom rung, right? That's like the lowest of the low
yeah, it
of
is.
that age and that ability. I mean, I'm not saying that Lou's for his, I mean, because Lou 1986 or whatever would blow all of these guys off the
Now-
fucking. I mean,
now-
there was a period where Lou Gramm was probably a top 10 singer in the world, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just
Probably.
being straight with you. Yeah,
But-
in the 80s, there he could.
But
sing a ton.
realistically, I mean, even guys that aren't homos can go, that's a handsome dude. Like even like Vince Neil back in like Dr. Feelgood, or girls era. You're like, yeah, I wouldn't want to hang around him because then makes you look less attractive. But with Luke Graham, I mean, was he ever like a handsome dude? You think?
Nah, I mean,
I don't think so, right? I mean,
maybe in 79, 80, he for a New York guy or something. Maybe he could have. I don't
yeah,
know,
New
but
York
I'm
guy.
I'm just saying, like in that era where like it was everyone just wore like jeans and a pair of tennis shoes. I mean, like there was no style or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
He was a
You know,
handsome for an average guy, is what you're saying.
yeah,
An
yeah, like
average New Yorker.
he was an upper tier average New Yorker blue collar kind of guy or whatever. But I no, I don't think that's where Eddie Trunk is right. They are kind
Right.
of a faceless band. They didn't
Right.
there was never a guy that you were well, I don't know. I recognized him because of the red curly hair. I mean, that's kind of
Right.
like in my
Yeah.
opinion what made me go, "Oh, that's Lou of Foreigner." I don't know
Right.
how I just always that's kind of how I visually would spot him in a crowd per se. But the rest of the guys, yeah, there was no uniqueness to them. There was nothing that stood out. So they're much more the band that you get on the radio and you hear, I want to know what love is. And you just go, that's fucking Foreigner, dude, because they
Mhm.
played that song. I mean, my fucking mom listened to that
Yeah.
song driving the van. You know what I'm saying? It's just like as a crossover hit to it was making old ladies weep, you know. So not a lot of bands get that level of crossover where grandma, grandpa, a little kid, Journey did. There's a few bands that get the hits that just they're at every sport anthem. They're at every moment on television when they need that song that's gonna make you all mushy inside. There, a Foreigner song could slip right in there, and you would never notice because that's what they're there for. But no, he was never Brett Michaels or Vince Neil or
Right.
David Lee Roth getting all the chicks and clearly, you know. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. But
Well, yeah. Now, Foreigner will be in Ridgefield, I think sometime in March at the casino, which that just kind of shows you kind of where they've dropped off some, even with having not having Hanson on board, right? Because I mean, they've been doing amphitheaters and bigger venues than that casino. Um,
mhm.
but well, I don't know. We'll see. And you know who's also looking pretty sickly is Jeff Pilson. Fuck. I
Yeah,
mean, Father
another
Time's fucking
guy.
is taking a beating the shit out of some of these guys.
Yeah, 110%. I'm not quite clear. I was trying to figure out is it like some kind of vegan diet thing that
Yeah.
makes them look all gaunt and thin with no color, or what are they?
You know what I think is when I don't forget where I posted that, but he looks like he's got ALS
ALS arm.
arms. I mean,
Yeah,
fuck.
he
Yeah. I
looks like
mean,
he's gonna be on his way to a mobile wheelchair soon and having to, you know, have
well,
someone wipe his chin for him.
no shit. Maybe he can
Him and
form
Tommy Shaw can sit
yeah,
around
he can
drooling
do a
together.
super group with Tommy Shaw, you know. But yeah, I don't know because if you remember, there have been photos and you know, I think concert clips where Pilson's been sitting a lot.
I
So I'm
remember,
like,
I think
what
he
the
said he had back.
fuck?
I thought
Yeah,
there was an interview where he mentioned having back pain or back troubles, and maybe that was what I was talking. But it definitely looks like it's progressed to something.
right.
He just looks unwell. I don't know how else to explain. I mean, some again, I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm
Right.
not Dr. Oz. I don't
No
fucking know.
shit.
I'm just
But he
saying
just
that
doesn't look well,
like
does he?
yeah, they don't yeah, and it's like there was a period there where Bill Clinton went from like looking like a normal dude to this gaunt, pale, thin, like he's I think they all go on these diets and trying to control their heart or sugar or whatever, and it makes them look really sick and unwell in
Yeah.
my eyes. I mean, it's almost like if that's like, I guess maybe that's buying you 5 more years or something in your mind, but visually you look like shit, dude. You look like you're fucking one step away from that grave.
I mean, Jeff Pilson
So
looks like he's the bass player from Ghost.
yeah,
I mean,
and it's
fuck.
like, yeah, you look like you're on the way to Auschwitz or
Yeah,
something,
no
and those
shit.
arms look like you
No,
need to be
yeah.
injected with some nutrients or
You
something.
know that's pretty. Yeah, that's weird, huh? The you know you got two of the Dawkins guys that are getting the shit kicked out of them by Father Time. You
Yeah.
know, Lynch is starting to look kind of haggard, but he's still. I mean, he still looks pretty good.
Still has
Moves
his
around pretty
color,
well.
the color of his skin, though. I mean, he's
Right.
always tan, and he always
Leathery.
looks. And he looks like he when he got on stage with Don that one, he was walking just fine. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no mobility issues. He's taking care of himself. And again, I'm not, maybe he's the one eating well, and the other guys aren't. I don't know what's going on there, but you know, even Wild Mick, I don't know. He seems to like he's just the kind of guy who probably eat a steak and drink a 6 pack of beer every night, and he doesn't seem to be having all these issues that Don Dawkins having. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, I see some photos occasionally from his brother Steve, and Mick looks
Yeah.
fine. He's got color to him. He's got his hair still. He still looks like Mick Brown. I mean, Don looks like he's, again, like, give him the shovel, dude. He's fucking digging his grave somehow, some way. He just looks like he's a step away from going down and never get. He's looks like he's going to be in the Life Alert commercial. Oh,
Yeah.
get up, hit the button. That's what's going to happen. And
Yeah, no
he's gonna be like
shit.
Gene Hackman, stuck around the house for 2 weeks while someone's dead, not knowing where he is or something. Right?
He'll be rotting
It's
in his
scary.
house. Oh,
And Jeff, I'm gonna guess it must be health issues or something. I don't know. Again, that totally could be. And I'm not knocking any of them because Father Time's unbeaten. But at least Mick Jones just went away. He
Right.
just exited stage left. He doesn't want you to see him in the wheelchair or the blanket over him fucking drooling. So he
pissing
just,
himself.
at least he knew, hey, this is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. So get that fill in. I'll be over
Right.
here. I'm not doing interviews. Leave that to Kelly and Jeff. And so I'm just saying, Don, maybe hand the reins to Levin. Say, hey, Levin, you got to be the interview guy now or whatever. You're more whatever. I'm just saying that it's not a good look when you're drunk in every interview, making shit up that we all know is not true, getting on stage, croaking your way through it, sitting
Right.
down because you're out of breath, pissing your pants, moaning and groaning. I mean, so yeah, same with Pilsen. I don't know. I can say he definitely looks gaunt, thin. It doesn't look healthy. I definitely probably in the last year or two started going, what's going on with Jeff? Is he
Well, and I think with these guys, what also doesn't help is the fact that they go crazy with the fucking hair dye, because he's looking really, really ashy like our buddy Aiken. And then he throws the hair dye on, and which makes him look like he's got the hair color of like a 25-year-old.
And I will also say he's, I've heard this in multiple interviews. He's a wake up and drink coffee and go do yoga for an hour or two and hit the gym for an hour or two guy. Guys that do that survive on coffee and yoga, they always look like they're about to break. They do. They're like you're just going to reach over and grab their arm and go like that. It's gonna snap. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. If they exist on caffeine and yoga and that, they just always look so thin to the point that you're like, dude, I could just step on you and your bones would go.
It's like a chicken
just
bone.
break. Yeah, just be over with. So,
Oh,
but they some of them in LA, they think that's the look. They do. That's what their people around them in the neighborhood are running and yoga, and they're all weighing 125. And if you don't weigh 125, you're not,
yeah.
So, and hey, I'm not knocking that.
Raise your horns